2 manufacturers remain in challenge mode, and then once we are done with those 2 manufacturers, we can finally get on with some racing. I can definitely say this has gone on longer than I personally would have wanted it to, but either way, we're almost there, as we have just 5 more bikes left to collect, plus colour schemes, as we've got the Aprilia RSV 1000, the Aprilia RSV 1000R Factory, and the Racing Modified RSV 1000. So, let's begin with the first of these. And once again, we are at Deep Forest Raceway to open this up. I really hope this is going to be easy. Easy in terms of me being able to control the bike, and I think it just might be. Because I only have to deal with less than 140 horsepower, so I think that should give me a reasonable amount of control from the bike, from what I can see. And at this time, I think we're doing okay. So, 8 seconds is the gap between me and the leader. We're both riding the same bike, as I would have guessed. And all I have to do now is just... And the game makes me choke again. You know, I'm really starting to get the feeling that this game does not want me to finish the challenge mode, because everything was all square up until I got to the end of that second cornering complex, and then for whatever reason the bike just decided it wanted to go down on me. And basically what happened was I fell off. I don't know why, but it just decided I was done. It was through that corner there. The one I just passed. Before that set of left-handers. That was pretty much where the bike just decided it did not want to keep me up on my legs anymore. Okay, stay on track. Okay. And there we go. So, second time's the charm, baby! As long as I can stay on the track, and I do. Second time lucky. Even though the game right now is trying its best of efforts to make it so I do not get there. But whatever, I am disallowing that from happening, because I really want to get this done, and I want to get on with the racing afterwards. Fortunately, however, we only have 2 more bikes to go once we're done with Aprilia, and then we can pretty much focus on getting through the race events. Yeah, okay. I had to check and see if it was only 1 colour scheme on the factory model, and I'm glad to say it is. So, I think it's fair to say that we're definitely doing okay at the moment. Regardless of all the efforts this game has tried to do to make me choke. Also, one other thing I should mention that is ironic about Aprilia is knowing that outside of Ducati, Aprilia is the only other competing manufacturer in the MotoGP in 2024 that has actually won a race aside from Ducati. Whilst Ducati has basically been with the dominators of that year, Francesco Bagnaia, Jorge Martin and Marc Marquez. And I think there's also one or two other wins outside of the top three in the championship who have ironically won a race on the Ducati. So needless to say, the Ducati is pretty much the dominant bike of 2024, and the lone saving grace from all that domination is ironically the Aprilia, which, believe it or not, went on to win the US Grand Prix in the MotoGP Championship with I think it was Maverick Vinales, if I'm not mistaken. At least I'm pretty sure he was the rider who went on to win that race. But either way, up to this point of the year, and probably after the season finale in Valencia, it'll most likely stand out as being the lone saving grace of the MotoGP season in terms of a clean sweep from Ducati. Aprilia will basically be the lone saving grace, even though KTM has come close a few times, but that's a story for another time. Anyway, there we go. So that is another challenge done and dusted, and now we just have 2 to go. As our first one will be with the factory model racing modified, and then after that we just have the racing bike, which I would imagine is going to be another time trial at Valencia most likely. And this time we are at special stage Route 5 for the RSV 1000R factory model. Hopefully this is where we will thrive. And on the brakes nice and early, so I do not give myself any dilemmas heading through the tunnel. Yeah, did I mention something about this game trying its best of efforts to not let me complete the challenge mode? Well, that's kind of what I'm letting happen at the moment, because on my previous 2 attempts I had 2 pretty much head-on impacts with the wall. And the other time was where I pretty much went headfirst into a guardrail. In other words, I basically decapitated myself on my previous attempt. And this time, I'm going to try and be cautious, because I really want to survive this. And the gap is now 2 seconds to the Aprilia in front. I downshift to assure a good exit through the corner exit, and just before the straight I get the job done with a time of 1:23.2. I can certainly say this game is doing everything in its power to basically make sure I don't reach the end without a fight. And it's fair to say that with my failed attempts up to this point, the game is definitely giving me a fight. But it's not stopping me from getting the bikes. So as much as it can continue taunting me in the battles, I will still find a way to beat it in the war. And yep, we are once again back at Valencia. And where our target time this time is a 1 minute 46. I've more or less ridden enough laps around Valencia to pretty much know my way around. This is pretty much going to be the same as everything else, from what I know. So, we'll see how we go. And running a little bit wide there on the corner and exit, but I do manage to make it through unscathed, which is a good thing. Because that is pretty much what I want to do at this stage. And I can definitely say this bike does not have as much horsepower as what the other bikes I've ridden so far have. And again, still wobbling as I head through the corner, but I am able to keep myself in the fight as ever. And almost running wide on that corner entry, but able to keep it on the tarmac. And now we head once again through the final corner. And as ever, going early on the brakes because that's how you can get a strong exit. And on the final straight, and the time is going to be a 1:43.8. And that's now Aprilia done. And so, all that's left is Buell. And just going to check something to be sure. I'm pretty sure we do have a replay saved, but as ever, sometimes I have to be sure of these things. But there we go. That's now the end of Aprilia. And now all we have left is Buell. And then once we are done there, we can then divert our focus over to the race events for the rest of the game. Since that's kind of what I really want to do. And quickly selecting my racing number as ever. But there we go. Aprilia is now done, with another easy lap time requirement met at Valencia. And now all that's left is Buell. And where the tracks we will be heading to are Tokyo Route 246 and Twin Ring Motegi to finish this off. That's all good. And now we have got just one manufacturer left in challenge mode, as we now gain another 6 bikes from sweeping Aprilia. Or, correction, we get another 4 bikes for sweeping Aprilia. So that takes our total now up to 198, and we are now 48.9% complete with the game. So that means we've gained a total of, if I recall correctly, we were at 47.4% before, so we've gained 1.5% of progress. And so, all that remains in challenge mode is Buell. And so, that is where we will finish challenge mode. Next time.